Hey guys, so today, before I start, my name's Alex.
Hooray!
And I'm Marco.
Yes, so Silvergate, when I say that thing, what does that mean to you? Some of you might know, some of you not. It sounds like Watergate, which is not for those of you who's an older generation, it might not bring us back a very positive memory, but we'll see. And so basically, Marco, you want to talk about Silvergate. So what is Silvergate to you?
Yeah, so Silvergate has been a big news nowadays. And for those of you who doesn't know, Silvergate is a real bank. It's a U.S. California-based bank. It is a famous bank for being very crypto friendly.
Mhm.
Uh, it served all these big clients like FTX, Coinbase, so pretty much all the crypto service provider. As you know, all of you knows if you have watched our channels, you know that FTX has this big collapse, and ever since, I guess a lot of these big clients have trouble. So Silvergate's uh, is arguably losing a lot of clients. Now, the problem happens on March 2nd. After the market closed, Silvergate announced that it would not be able to finish its 10K form. The 10K form is it's an annual report that is being complied, or it's a compliant requirements for all the listed company in the U.S. So not be able to complete the 10K form, it's a big deal. So basically, they cannot report last year's profit and loss and all the financial of the companies to all the shareholders. And many people believe that because 2022, it's a big sort of big trouble year for a lot of these crypto service provider. So Silvergate probably has accumulated a very massive loss. So in March 3rd, after that announcement, Silvergate Capital, which is the mother company of Silvergate Bank, the stock price have collapsed nearly half of its price from 13.5 to $6.9 per shares in the span of 10 minutes. And then Bitcoin, coincidentally, also dropped 5% in the same day. Now, I guess people can argue that this is another panic sell-off of both bitcoins and other cryptocurrency. Um, but it is a problem. I guess Silvergate's bank is in trouble. Um, I don't know, May. What do you think?
Well, I'm in crypto space. I work with a lot of crypto products and in a few spaces. Silvergate is one of the
Yeah.
big names that we hear, and the rumor said that Silvergate put a lot of their assets in FTX, and 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 the thing is, so I think we are going to see something very interesting. I think everything about FTX about to end it,
Yeah.
like so, and you got another thing coming right up, and I think it's going to be a very interesting event to see.
Mm.
I think Silvergate is dealing heavily with FTX. I was a former FTX user, so
Yeah.
heard about Silvergate a lot of the time, and it helps people on ramp, off ramp. But
Yep.
one funny thing that you said, and I just want to make a comment. You
Yeah.
said Silvergate's a real bank.
Yeah.
What is non-real bank?
What is Well, I think I say it is a real bank because it is a very as a proper licensed bank in the U.S.
That is a
Um,
traditional mainstream system using real
exactly. Yeah.
national currency, right? And,
So
and and okay, I'm sorry.
so for people who wants to open a FTX account, if for information in past, you have to wire your U.S. dollars or whatnot into Silvergate's a bank account, and then that money will transfer into the FTX system to become the crypto currency, the equal amount of cryptocurrency that you can start trading with. So having a real licensed bank as a as a bank account or as an FTX bank account give a lot of a relevance to the system.
Take,
Imagine you have to wire the money to a Cayman or like a Bahama bank account. Then I think it will be harder to get clients or customers.
Can I put it in a kind of a nerdy type of way? It's almost like a multi-dimensional portal, right? Where you have the real world or the mainstream world that we all recognize, where physics and everything all makes sense. But then you have the crypto world, which is this other system, and Silvergate is essentially a portal that enables people to go in between the two, right? So you go in, and when you want to cash out, you come out. I'm using a very nerdy way of
Yes, like a very multiverse-like terms. But for a lot of crypto, especially Bitcoin maximalists, they will say Bitcoin's real and everything else not. So it really depends on where you're standing. And but yes, so I just want to lead to this discussion to you all. Should we have this portal open? Should we have a real bank to do on-ramp, off-ramp fiat crypto? Should crypto stay with crypto and fiat stay with fiat? I mean, should crypto stay as technology focused industry, or should crypto play with the money with higher acceleration? They just copy everything that fiat does, but with a super higher acceleration. They have crowdfunding, they have leveraging, they have a lot of things that you guys, like the fiat guys, have, but like super leverage and super high speed. Should crypto stay as a technically focused, or you should leave the portal open so you can travel between the verses?
I think it's definitely, you have to, there definitely has to be a portal. Otherwise, it's like, how could people even participate in crypto, right? But it's the question should really be, how could crypto be? I'm not saying irresponsible, but something that's tied to something that essentially tied to something other than just pure speculation. And I don't want to trigger anybody when I say this, and I definitely believe in blockchain technology. I also see the value of having a non-national currency that eventually people start to trade certain items for. It makes the world, it adds another dimension to the world, the way we trade, and that's for sure. But you have Warren Buffett, who go around, or is it his partner? But Warren Buffett was saying that Charlie Munger would actually, I think it's Charlie Munger who says that you might as well be trading turd, right?
Yeah.
Because it's basically you are pretty much, the value of crypto goes up and down depending on how many more people buy into this concept and want to invest in this future. It's not tied to anything substantial other than this kind of this demand. And when the demand starts to diminish, then the price will start to go down. Is there anything that it could, crypto could actually be tied to, or do we want to tie it to something? I think that's kind of the question over here. So whether or not there's a portal, yes, there should be a portal, but how connected it should be to the real world, and how could it be connected? I think that's the real question. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think the same question is that how if the portal is so connected, right, then what ends up happening is that I feel like crypto is going to become part of the fiat system at the end. To give you an idea, I think the other day Ray DeLeo brought it up in one of his interview that Microsoft, the market cap of Microsoft is 1.9 trillion, whereas Bitcoin, it's only something like 600 millions. So the value of Bitcoin is still in its sort of infancy right now. So if you are trying to connect that with the fiat system, then eventually the fiat people would try to make it into one of the fiat system mechanism, and then it would lose all its characters, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, our team is building a product to solve that problem, but I'll talk about that later. But here's the thing: I think the word portals like very interesting, and what Alex says is very interesting. The thing is, what crypto is doing is it's only in a digital world,
Yeah.
and crypto has problem attach itself into the tangible world.
Mm.
So you can't kryptonize a phone or a cup or a bag of tea.
Yeah.
So you can't do that, right? You can't tokenize, you can't make it, you can't digitize those things. So you need to put some indication like index, serials, or
Yeah.
some numbers
Yeah.
on a cup, on a microphone, on
Yeah.
a tea bag, on something and link those information indicators to crypto to digitize it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a problem with regulations because you need someone to say, hey, this is a cup.
Mm.
And if you're going to tokenize this cup, you need some certain number, and it needs to be someone physical
Yeah.
to do something with the cup.
You're absolutely correct. Yes, yes. And I feel like you know, we can make the same argument about digital marketing or online sales, right? If online sales started to take off or it didn't take off, then we will all be going to the store right now. But since online shopping took off, we are now, you know, can say, okay, let's put all the merchandise online,
Yeah.
right? So crypto or blockchain technology is not quite at that point yet.
I think the
Right.
technology, I think it's a regulation point.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, the person who say, hey, let's put these information into there. And a lot of people want to tokenize land.
Mm.
And then you see how
Yeah.
many regulators that you need, like you need how much you have to mitigate before you get things done.
Yeah.
Or if you want to, like you're working on CP, if I want to tokenize agricultural products,
Yeah, yeah,
like this lot of chicken is going to be tokenized. It's going to be hectic. Who am I going to talk to?
yeah, yeah. And I, you know, a lot of these regulations, I mean, I totally agree with your point, but I think what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I think it's also the understanding of regulator and the market.
Mm-hmm.
If regulator and market doesn't understand what's going on, then what would happen is that you have a lot of loopholes to make mistakes, like what we are observing right now with FTX. Whereas in sort of the eBay infancy, right,
Mm-hmm.
you get a lot of these sort of Ponzi scheme where
Mm-hmm.
people collecting your money and not selling you the product,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not being regulated, so then it loses all its sort of credibility.
Mm.
And then so like all these new kind of concept and idea and tech would take some time to kind of like organically like evolve, and then once it gets to the point where, you know, people has to live with it, then like there's no going back. But right now I think you know, having Silvergates, we can probably make an argument 10 years down the road that is so ahead of its time, you know, it creating this portal, and then like the actual products that is trying to serve, it's not quite at its sort of maturity yet.
But you know, this is very surprising. I mean, someone so big, like a real bank.
Yeah, yeah.
Your word. So, some real bank put so much, rumor said, a lot of assets in FTX.
Yeah.
It just like I just want. I mean, I put my own assets in the FTX too. So, just it just got me to FTX story again and thinking like how on earth he managed to get those kind of trust, you know,
Yeah.
and then again too big to fall, and then again come to centralize. Is centralized truly good? Look at Silvergate.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at FTX. Look at Three Arrows. You know,
Yeah.
when they manage their funds, they manage their operation poorly, and this is what happening. So
Yeah.
so is centralizing is good in a crypto world because DeFi itself sort itself out.
Yeah.
As in a lot of DeFi go bust, a lot of GameFi go bust, and naturally too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it sorts itself out. But when you have this intervene mechanism from the central or regulated parties in the crypto, is it like a good thing to have, or do we actually, is it the crypto that has a problem, or the centralizing issues on crypto space that having problems?
Well, I mean, you definitely need a centralized governing body of some sort, even no matter how official it is, to recognize the value of something, to be able to regulate the value of something. I don't know if it's getting way too theoretical, but I mean, when gold, like, when people start to, people think about, hunter gatherers used to trade, like, I need fur, well, you just finished, hunting a deer, why don't you give me half the deer and I'll give you some fur, and then it get moved on to, well, we got to trade something for this. So a couple of rocks become gold. And, it's, I think in every single process of every single currency, there has to start off in this kind of like process where it goes, so how much is that really worth? How much do people really want? And, I think that it's not until later on do we start to have more and more recognized bodies to verify that, okay, this is how much gold is worth right now, and then of course that thing fluctuates and change. And of course, the problem with centralized is that, sometimes then you have corrupted people that will actually then be able to affect the price of this thing for their own gains, and I think, and crypto is going through the same stage, I mean, like, people are saying that you trading turds is meaningless. Well, yes and no. Like, in the end, it's all about just demand for something, right? Even gold is the same thing. So I do believe that. I don't trade crypto. I don't dabble in it because I don't understand 100%. I don't believe in speculation, but at the same time, I do believe that, there's a place for it. Right now, I think it's just in a teething stage right now where people are still kind of trying to suss out, like, who to trust and who not to trust.
Yeah.
And stories like FTX really completely just pull the rug from underneath everybody's carpet,
No,
underneath
100%.
everybody's feet, because it starts to affect Silvergate. It starts to affect all the other institutions just purely based on this lack of trust, just because of some punk with, like, like an electrified fro, like, decide to play to troll all of us, So I think it's just a teething process right now. It's evident, if you really think about the grand scheme of things, FTX pretty much went bust, like, what, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 3 months ago.
November.
And, yeah, and it seems like everything is all hell is breaking loose. But like, a lot of these things needs time to kind of, like, for all the dominoes to fall, and then it needs time for all the people to put the dominoes back up or to rebuild. And I think right now, the perception is, oh, hell is breaking loose. Sorry, excuse my French, but shit is hitting the fan. I can imagine. I feel really bad for you, May, because I can imagine you're like, oh, damn, not another thing, not another thing, not another thing. But I think that right now we're still in the thick of things. We're still in the mud of things. And then, in a couple of years, I think something else is going to be formed up. And hopefully it's going to be something that's positive and rebuilding, because I think people are still interested in cryptocurrency right now.
And blockchain technology,
Blockchain.
yeah.
I mean, so I want to speak on Marco's behalf a little bit because he's turning into Bitcoin Maxi, I've heard, and so we're developing this thing. It will help you cut out very much of your currency system into Bitcoin based currencies. I'm not sure it's gonna be good, or you should speak it too openly in the public, but it's a technology. It's pure tech. You don't have a lot of money in the fund, and it's only liquidity pool that anyone can put any amount of money in the fund, and it's going to be on the Bitcoin chain. So we don't touch your money, but it's going to be the facilitator to help another universe to mitigate and use Bitcoin. And so,
sorry.
So using Bitcoin to help facilitate in the money area of their life. So I think it's going to be 2 universes, or 3 or 4 or 5 universes altogether, because Bitcoin Maxi believe that Bitcoin is the good blockchain system and everything else turd, Warren Buffett word. But anyway, we'll see about that. I think it's going to be a multi-currencies even crypto itself is going to have multi currencies, and fiat is also going to be a lot of multi currencies. You need to see a lot of portals going through a lot of verses.
Well, I'm excited. Looking forward to talk about your product. It sounds like innovation is happening while we're experiencing the latest casualties of the whole sort of FTX saga. I guess Silvergate, is the latest
Yeah, we have to
casualty.
see
But
about
then,
it.
but then
Yeah.
people are still developing. Like May, it's still innovative about products.
Thank you. Keep
That's awesome.
moving.
Yeah.
I have belief in the technology, really.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. So now that we're reaching our 20-minute mark, we probably need to conclude it. But so what's the takeaway from this, May? So basically, what you're saying is the technology, still believe in it. There's always going to be some good that happens with it. Right now, there's definitely there's definitely some crisis happening. But as I said before, it's just pretty much we're just within the thick of things. And I think would you advise people right now to still, of course, still participate in it, but what type of action do you think the people who are interested in crypto should be doing right now?
I think the narrative is going to be changing a lot, and we're talking about the pure philosophy of investment. People, I mean, like centralizing. Yes, you need to have centralized exchange and centralize a lot of things, but they're going to be less centralized in a centralized exchange. People will try the new philosophy to work on the crypto space, and even in the fiat space, you see a lot of people like fighting and trying to use the word crypto, AI, and all these buzzwords into their products.
Yeah.
So you see that. So I think investors should watch out first, and I think it's going to grow for sure. It's going to grow, but as the industry is growing, you will see a lot of false characters trying to play pretend.
Yeah.
And I think this is invest in yourself. Stay tuned, listen to us more, and because we like try to understand which one is a false character, which one is not. FTX, bad character, bad actors that's in the space. So I think I think every one of us needs to learn, but it's growing. It's worth investing in, but I think we should develop a sense of community to share information and to share our wits amongst each other so that we have some pointers. But this is also, I think it's a promising industry, but it's going to be a bumpy road ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agree.
Cool. So, sorry if I won't cut anybody else off right now, but we're at 22. So I promise I'm going to keep this short. So I hope to see you next week again. I'm Alex.
I'm May.
Marco.
And
Nice to-
goodbye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.